Zara stood there, breathless, trembling, her heartbeat echoing louder than the thunder outside. Her world spun the moment his lips met hers. Hyunwoo Lee, the man she swore she hated, kissed her like he'd been waiting his whole life to do it. It wasn't soft. It wasn't gentle. It was fire meeting fury. Two broken souls clashing in a war neither of them wanted to end. And then the sound echoed. A sharp, painful slap. Her palm stung. His jaw tightened. Between them hung the taste of rain, anger, and something dangerous. She couldn't tell if it was hate. Or something far worse, want. Hyunwoo didn't move. He just looked at her, not with anger, but with something that terrified her even more. Regret. Outside, thunder rolled again. Inside, silence screamed louder than words. Zara turned away, but the truth was already out there, hidden between that kiss and that slap. A truth that would destroy everything she came to build. A truth that began with one mistake, and would end with a love neither of them could escape. Zara Okoro adjusted her backpack nervously as she stepped onto the bustling Seoul campus. She had dreamed of this scholarship for years, and the reality was both exhilarating and terrifying. Every face seemed unfamiliar, every voice foreign, yet she smiled and tried to blend in. As she hurried down the hall, a man came out of nowhere, tripping over a briefcase. Papers flew in every direction. Without thinking, Zara lunged forward, grabbing a falling folder before it hit the floor. "Careful," she exclaimed, handing it back. The man looked up, his expression a mix of surprise and gratitude. He was tall, impeccably dressed, with sharp features that made her heart skip a beat. "Thank you," he said, his voice calm, controlled, and just a little intimidating. "I'm Hyunwoo Lee." Lee, that sounds familiar, Zara thought, but she shook it off. Probably just another student or teacher. "I'm Zara Okoro." "Nice to meet you," she said, hiding the sudden flutter in her chest. He studied her briefly, an unreadable expression on his face. "You're not a student here, are you?" "I am." I am," she stammered. "Why does he make me feel like I'm under a microscope?" "Good," he said finally, turning back to gather his papers. "You're coming with me." Zara froze. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," Hyunwoo said, his gaze firm. "I need someone to help me today." "You'll do." "Do what?" Zara thought, confusion and nerves tangling in her stomach. "I barely know him, and now I'm following him." Walking behind Hyunwoo, Zara tried to process the situation. She had never met someone so cold, yet there was an inexplicable magnetism about him. Each step felt charged. "You know," she said cautiously, "I don't usually follow strangers around." He glanced at her briefly, lips twitching into the faintest smirk. "You're not a stranger anymore. You're an intern." "An intern?" Zara repeated, shocked. "I think you have the wrong person." Hyunwoo's gaze hardened slightly. "I don't make mistakes." "He's serious?" Zara thought. "This man, he's impossible." She followed anyway, realizing arguing wouldn't help. As they entered a luxurious office building, she took in the marble floors, the massive windows, and the air of power that surrounded him. "I didn't sign up for this," she thought, swallowing nervously. "And yet, I can't stop looking at him." Hyunwoo handed her a stack of documents. "Review these and summarize the key points," he said. "I don't have time for mistakes." Zara hesitated, holding the papers. "Why am I the one doing this?" she wondered. I'm just a scholarship student, not some corporate assistant. I'll try my best, she said, attempting to sound confident. You'd better, he said, his gaze piercing through her like he could see every doubt she had. As she began reading, she noticed a tiny smirk tug at his lips when she fumbled a line. Does he enjoy seeing me struggle? She thought, cheeks warming. Hours passed with Zara summarizing, while Hyunwoo occasionally leaned over her shoulder, silently correcting errors. His proximity made her pulse quicken, and she struggled to focus. Why is he so magnetic? After the documents were complete, Zara stepped onto the balcony to breathe. The city stretched out before her, lights glittering in the late afternoon sun. What just happened today? She thought, exhaling. I helped a stranger, got mistaken for an intern, and now I'm completely out of my depth. Meanwhile, inside the office, Hyunwoo sat back in his chair, watching the skyline. She's bold, smart, and not intimidated by me, he thought, a flicker of something unreadable crossing his face. She's different from anyone I've met. That evening, as Zara returned to her dorm, her mind replayed every interaction. Every glance, every subtle smirk, every word lingered. Why do I feel drawn to him? She wondered. This isn't just a mistake. Something tells me my life is about to change. The next morning, Zara arrived at the towering glass building that now felt both magnificent and intimidating. She had planned to explain the misunderstanding and leave, but something in her wouldn't let her walk away. As she stepped into the elevator, she caught her reflection in the mirror, braids neat, blouse crisp, nerves hidden behind a confident smile. You can do this, she told herself. You've handled worse. When the elevator doors opened, Hyunwoo was already there, standing by the reception desk. His presence filled the room effortlessly, calm, powerful, distant. You're late, he said simply. I wasn't aware I worked here, she replied, crossing her arms. His lips twitched, barely a smile. You do now. This man, he never asks, he just decides, Zara thought, fighting the heat in her cheeks. He gestured toward the office. Come. I have a meeting in 10 minutes. You'll observe. I'm not trained for. Then learn, he interrupted smoothly, walking away. Zara sighed and followed. I should be angry, but why do I feel challenged instead? Inside the conference room, everything felt foreign, glass walls, expensive suits, and voices sharp with strategy. Hyunwoo sat at the head of the table, composed and confident. Zara took notes quietly, stealing glances at him between scribbles. He's like a machine, she thought. Focused, controlled, untouchable. When someone questioned his decision, Hyunwoo's tone cut through the room like glass. If you have time to doubt my methods, he said, you should use it to improve yours. Everyone fell silent. Zara bit back a grin. He's ruthless, and yet, I can't look away. After the meeting, as people dispersed, Hyunwoo approached her. You understood the summary? Yes, she said, holding up her notes. And I corrected one of the figures. The profit margin you mentioned was off by 2%. He paused, clearly not expecting that. Show me. She handed him the notebook, and for the first time, his expression softened, just a little. You're bold, he said. I'm accurate, she replied. There it is again, she thought. That spark between us. It's dangerous, but thrilling. As days passed, whispers filled the office. The new intern, the foreign girl, had caught the CEO's attention. Zara noticed the looks, the half-hidden smirks from other assistants. One woman, Minji, seemed particularly cold. She must be special, Minji said one afternoon, her tone sharp. Not everyone gets personal mentoring from Mr. Lee. Zara smiled politely. Maybe he just appreciates honesty. Minji's eyes narrowed. Or maybe he appreciates something else. Zara walked away before replying, her heart pounding. I can't let this bother me. I didn't come here for gossip. But later that day, when she found Hyunwoo in his office reviewing reports, her frustration spilled out. Do you know what they're saying about me? He looked up slowly. People talk. It means nothing. It means everything when I'm the one they're talking about, she said, voice trembling. You threw me into your world without asking if I belonged here. His eyes softened for a fraction of a second. And do you? The question lingered between them like smoke. She didn't answer, she couldn't. That night, rain poured over the city. Most of the building was empty, but Zara was still at her desk, finishing a report. She rubbed her temples, exhaustion settling in. The soft sound of footsteps broke her focus. Hyunwoo appeared beside her, holding 2 cups of coffee. You're still here, he said quietly. So are you, she replied, surprised. He set a cup in front of her. You did well today. She looked up at him, unsure if she'd heard right. That almost sounded like a compliment. Don't get used to it, he said, but the faintest smile crossed his lips. Silence followed, comfortable yet charged. The sound of rain against the windows filled the space. Zara sipped her coffee, warmth spreading through her chest. I don't understand you, she said softly. You're not supposed to, he replied. She studied his face, the tired lines around his eyes, the weight he carried behind that perfect composure. He looks lonely, she thought. Like someone who forgot what peace feels like. For the first time, she saw the man behind the title, not the CEO, not the perfectionist, but a person who'd built walls too high to climb. Their eyes met again, and for a moment, the world outside disappeared. Then Hyunwoo stood abruptly. Go home, Zara, he said, voice lower now. Before you make me forget who I am. She froze, heart racing. What does that even mean? When she finally left, the rain had stopped, but her pulse hadn't. Something changed tonight, she thought. And I don't know if I'm ready for what comes next. The days that followed were quiet. Too quiet. Zara had grown used to Hyunwoo's steady presence, the way he always seemed to appear at the right moment, how his voice could calm her nerves after a long day. But lately, something felt off. He had become distant. Cold again, like the first time they met. Zara tried to focus on her work, but whispers filled the office hallways. Eyes followed her everywhere she went. Conversations paused when she entered a room. At first, she ignored it, until she walked into the boardroom one morning and saw the newspaper. Her picture was on the front page. The headline read, Foreign intern caught leaking Lee Corporation's confidential data. Her heart froze. The room blurred. She barely heard the gasps or the murmurs. All she could think about was one name. Minju. Minju, Hyunwoo's ex-fiancée. The woman who smiled with her mouth but never her eyes. The one who had always called Zara, the charity case, behind her back. Zara knew Minju hated her, but she never imagined she would go this far. By the time she stormed out of the building, tears already blurred her vision. She ran into Hyunwoo's office, the newspaper clenched in her shaking hand. I didn't do this, Zara said, her voice trembling. You have to believe me. Hyunwoo's expression was unreadable. He stood by the window, silent for a long time before turning to her. I want to believe you, he said softly, but the evidence points directly at you. The files were sent from your account. Zara felt her chest tighten. You think I'd betray you like that? After everything? Hyunwoo looked away. Someone used your credentials. Until we know who, I can't protect you. His words cut deeper than any accusation. Zara stared at him, unable to breathe. So that's it? You'll let them destroy me? When he didn't answer, she walked out, this time for good. That night, rain poured over Seoul like the sky itself was mourning. Zara packed her things from the dorm quietly. Every corner of the room felt like a memory, their laughter, their arguments, their stolen glances that meant more than words. As she zipped her bag, she found something under the desk, a flash drive wrapped in plain white paper. On it was written, "For you, if you ever doubt yourself." Her breath caught. It was Hyunwoo's handwriting. She plugged it into her laptop, heart pounding. A series of surveillance clips appeared on the screen. One of them showed Minju entering Hyunwoo's office late at night, using Zara's ID card. Her hands shook. There it was, proof. Minju had framed her. But the last clip froze her blood. Minju wasn't alone. She was meeting a man, the company's vice director, whispering about getting rid of Zara permanently if she became a problem. Zara grabbed her coat and ran out into the storm. Minju's apartment was across the river, modern, cold, like its owner. Zara burst through the door, soaked to the bone. Minju turned, surprised for only a second before smiling. So, you found out, Minju said coolly. Took you long enough. Zara's voice cracked. Why are you doing this? What did I ever do to you? You existed, Minju replied. You came into his life, into my company, and suddenly he stopped seeing me. Everything that was supposed to be mine, you took it. Zara stepped closer, trembling with anger. He chose me because I never lied to him. Because I worked for everything I have. Minju laughed bitterly. You really think he'll love you after this? The police will be here soon. And when they find that data drive in your locker. Zara didn't let her finish. She grabbed Minju's wrist. You set me up, but I'm not going down alone. They struggled, papers flying, glass shattering. Minju reached for a letter opener, but before she could strike, the door burst open. Hyunwoo stood there, rain dripping from his coat, eyes wide. Enough. Minju froze. The letter opener slipped from her hand. Hyunwoo stepped forward, his voice low. It's over, Minju. I saw the footage. Her expression twisted in horror. You followed me? I trusted you once, Hyunwoo said, his voice breaking. And that was my biggest mistake. Minju collapsed into the chair, silent as security guards entered and escorted her out. For a long moment, only the sound of the rain filled the room. Zara turned away. You didn't believe me, she said quietly. You let me walk out like I meant nothing. Hyunwoo stepped closer, his voice trembling. I was afraid, Zara. I've lost too many people. I thought pushing you away would protect you. She looked up at him, tears glistening in her eyes. And what about me? Who protected me? He reached for her hand, but she didn't move. I'm sorry, he whispered. I should have trusted you. Please, don't go. For the first time, Zara saw the fear in his eyes, the same fear she had lived with all along. Slowly, she let him pull her into his arms. The storm outside began to fade. Weeks passed. The company cleared Zara's name. Minju's confession spread across the media like wildfire. And Hyunwoo, for the first time, stepped down from his father's shadow. He built a new branch of the company, one focused on fairness and integrity, and offered Zara the position of lead strategist. At first, she refused. But when he showed up at her doorstep with 2 coffees and that same nervous smile she'd fallen for, she couldn't help but laugh. "I thought you'd given up," she said. "Never," he replied. "Not on you." This time, when he kissed her, it wasn't stolen or desperate. It was real. The kind of love that survives storms and scandals. Maybe love isn't about how it begins, but how it survives everything trying to end it.